It just happened. Google has entered Minecraft. Alright guys, so welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock tutorial. Now behind me, I have the Googler. The Googler is basically a giant search engine for all your items in Minecraft. So in here, we have all our different items. So let's say I'm looking for some redstone lamps. I'm going to queue this out. It's going to fall in the hopper, be carried all the way up in an item elevator, be put into this item filter right here, and then it's going to filter through all my shulker boxes. If any of my shulker boxes has redstone lamps in any of their contents, they'll be spat out to me right here. So I have my lights box, and then I have my redstone box. So as you can see, the system is pretty fast. The system can sort a max of 54 different shulker boxes, and that's just the max amount of storage capacity it has, because that's how many slots is in one double chest. Now, whenever the system is done sorting, or you just have all the shulkers you want, all you have to do is press a button, and that will reset the entire system. It will also spit out any remaining shulker boxes, because one will get caught until you press a button to end the entire circuit. Now, when you are done coming back from your build, all you have to do is come to this chest and put in all your shulker boxes, and they will be filtered back into the system. Now, there is one slight bug with this system, and that happens whenever you press a button in the middle of sorting. So for example, I'm going to sort my hoppers. My hoppers go back in. It is sorting my hopper up here. If I press the button, if I happen to press the button at the perfect timing, because of how this clock up here works, there is a slight chance I'm going to get a shulker box that I did not request for, either at the end when I'm done sorting, or at the beginning of my next sort. So next time I throw an item in, there is a slight chance that I will get my first shulker box won't be the shulker box I actually requested for. Now, that only happens very rarely, and that only happens if you interrupt the system before the system has time to sort through every single shulker box. Now, that can either happen because of lag, or just because you hit the button at the perfect wrong timing. Now, this system is 4 long, 6 wide, and is 10 tall, and that's counting these blocks down here. But this thing is not quite tileable, so if you want to have more than one of these apart from each other, you need to have a 1 block gap, and then right here is where you would have your chest. And so, if you want to have more than one of these, you can absolutely do that, but you just need to make sure you keep a 1 block gap, and then you can just fill these in with whatever blocks you want. Now, for those of you who are still wondering, why do I need one of these in my base? If you come into this chest, we can see I have 2 of these books right here. Now, if we look here, I have this named Armor and Tools, and these named Power and Books. So you haven't quite caught on yet. If I just simply queue one of those Armor and Tools, we will see that the entire system is going to sort out from all the shulker boxes. It's going to give me my Armor and Tools box. Now, how it's able to do that is by having one of the items renamed and have that in that slot. And by doing that, we are able to sort all our Power Books and our Armor and Tools. So if you have a whole bunch of books and you want to sort them very easily and very compactly, all you have to do is simply sort these by having your first item in it renamed, put one of those in this system, and you're going to be able to sort all your books and all your non-stackable items from each other in bulk in shulker boxes too. Now, before we start the tutorial, I wanted to quickly mention to you guys that I have a tier list and world download in the link in the description below, as always, so go check that out if you're interested. But with that, let's start the tutorial. So we're going to start out by simply setting up our front interface. So we have 3 blocks up is our double chest. We have our button with our dropper that's spitting out all our items. Then up here we have our shulker box return. So this is a hopper facing inwards with a single chest right on top. Alright, so before we can do too much more, we need to put in all our droppers and all our hoppers. So coming from this bottom corner, we are going to have 5 droppers coming straight up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our 5th one we need to have facing towards this chest. And then we'll have 1 hopper going into the chest, and then we're going to have 1 more hopper going away from the chest. Right like that. Now over here we'll have a hopper going into the dropper, and then we'll have another hopper going into this collectively grouping 2 hoppers. And those 2 hoppers are both feeding into 3 droppers going straight up. And then on top of this, we will have a double chest. Now from this double chest, we're going to have that go into another double chest, all connected by 1 hopper. And then from this double chest, we are going to have that go into a block right here. And this block's going to be replaced with our one and only dispenser in this entire build. And then right here, we are going to need a piston and a wall. Now, the reason why we need a wall right here is if there's a rare chance where the shulker box that's right here gets broken by this bottom tip of the piston and gets flung off, there is a slight chance that it will actually get in between this hopper and this hopper in that tiny gap right there. So in order to reduce that and make sure that no hopper or no item can accidentally be lost by going in that gap, we are putting a wall right here. The entire system works the exact same way, and to make sure that you don't lose any items. Alright, now it's time to start working on the redstone. So coming all the way down here, this is our input hopper, and we will have 3 hoppers going into that dropper right here like that. Now coming off of this hopper, we are going to have a comparator. This comparator is going to be going straight into a block right there. Under this block, we will have 2 droppers, one facing in, and then the other is going to be facing, like you thought, right into the other one, like that. And then this far left one, we are going to have one item that you don't care about. It just needs to be a junk block. Now coming from this dropper, we are needing a block right here. And then right here, we will have a comparator going straight into a block. And then on top of this block, we will have a bit of redstone dust. This will lock this hopper whenever more than one item gets thrown. So if I'm just to throw an entire stack of cauldrons out, only one of them gets through and the rest get locked in that hopper. Now moving a couple blocks over, we have our item elevator. So for this item elevator, this is not going to be a silent one, and this is not going to be very complex. We just need to make sure it's one wide and is very fast. So by doing this, we are going to have a repeater right here, and that repeater is going to be coming in with some redstone dust. That's going to be powered whenever this comparator reads a signal. Now coming from this, we will have a torch, and then we are going to have an observer facing in like that, observer facing up, observer facing in, and then right here we will have another torch, and then here we can actually cheapen it up a bit with a repeater, and then we will come up another one with another observer, and then one more right there. On these missing blocks, we will simply put full blocks right there, and just like that, that finishes your item elevator. Okay, next up we have our item filter. So our item filter is going to start right here with a comparator facing outwards. Now from here we'll go into a block, and then we will have a glass block right here going into another 2 solid blocks right like that. Now coming around the top, we'll have 2 bits of redstone dust right here. Aside from this torch, we will have a repeater going into that block, which we will have a redstone torch. Now in this top hopper, you need to make sure you have exactly 21 items, so 18 and 3. And the reason we only want 18, because whenever we put one item to be sorted, so I'm sorting the subscribe anvil, if another one goes in there, the second one will go out, but not the first one, and the first one will always stay right there. Now that is important when how this sort of works, so make sure you have, again, exactly 18, 19, 20, 21, and then rename them something like subscribe to Rockbuilder. I don't know, guys, but seriously, if you made it this part of this video, subscribe! Helps me out a lot. Click the like button if you enjoyed this too. This is a very complex and difficult build to make. Alright, so also coming off this item filter, we need to lock this hopper. So the reason why we need to do this is if it's locked, so the torch is on, the shulker boxes will simply go to this dropper to be refiltered again. But if this is off, then that means it will get filtered all the way down to this dropper to eventually be shot out right to the player waiting. Now there is one slight issue with this, and that is when shulker boxes get broken, they'll get broken at the bottom of the block or the top of the block. If it's in the bottom, it's going to come through on the first tick. If it's the top of the block, it's going to come through on the second tick. So that means we need to turn this torch off for 2 ticks every time this machine activates once. So how we're able to do that is whenever this repeater gets triggered, it's going to turn it off once. So right there, that's our first tick. For our second tick, we are going to use a little bit of torches. So there's our first tick, and our first tick is going to go straight to a bit of redstone dust. And that redstone dust is going to go to another torch here. So that right there is 2 ticks. That means this redstone dust is going to be on for a total of 2 ticks, making this entire system 100% reliable. Alright, so now coming up to our 3 droppers, these are going to form a small item elevator right here, and how we're going to do this is by using comparator signal strength. So whenever this redstone dust, that's going to be on top of this block, changes signal strength, that's going to trigger the observer, because the observer can detect that, and that's going to trigger all 3 of these, transporting all the shulker boxes up to the top, whether there's 1, 2, 3, whatever number there is in this dropper. Whenever an item goes in there, it's always going to be triggered, and that's always going to make it all the way to this dispenser. Now for the final part of this entire build, we have to build the entire upper section, which is the timer. So from this bottom dropper of the T flip-flop, we will have a comparator going into a repeater on 4 ticks with a bit of redstone dust, block on top of that to stop the redstone dust from connecting, and then we will have one more block here, which is where we're going to have a redstone torch tower wind its way all the way up to the top. Once you make it all the way up to the top, we're going to have one more torch here, and then we're going to have a solid block here, and then we're going to have a sticky piston facing down right here. So on the sticky piston, we will have an observer facing out, and then right here, we will have 2 bits of redstone dust right on top like that. Now from the observer, 1 block below, we'll have a glass block, and then level with the observer, we'll have a repeater on 2 ticks going into a block, with another glass block here, with another repeater on 2 ticks. Then we're going to have an observer going facing down with a repeater on top of that on 2 ticks. Then right under this observer, we will have a solid block. Now right next to this sticky piston, we will have another solid block, and then another block up here with a repeater here on 4 ticks. Then we'll have a redstone torch right there, and then here's where our hopper clock is going to be, which is just going to be circling itself like this. So we'll have all these hoppers just facing right into each other like that, with a junk block of any item you want in there. Now all that's left to do is to put 3 solid blocks here, 2 solid blocks here, and then we will have 2 comparators and 1 repeater on 1 tick right there. Now all that's left to do is to put some glass on the front of your system and to hook up the button. So this button is going to reset your entire system. So from there we will have 3 blocks right here with a repeater and a bit of redstone dust right here. Just by pressing that button, that'll activate the dropper so that if the system is working, it will stop wherever you press it. And once you have the system fully set up with all your key cards in here of whatever box you want, all you have to do is cue the item you want. It'll go in the system, make its way all the way up to this key card, so we're sorting redstone lamps. And then whenever there's a box that have redstone lamps in it, they'll be spit out to you right here. So we have our lamp box, and then we'll just wait a little bit more. And we can see that here's our redstone box, also with our redstone lamps. So that is it, you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you really enjoyed, hit the subscribe button. This has been Rock Builder, and I'll see you in the next video.